Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about the emotional damage the narcissist parent causes to their children. And how the narcissist parent escapes any and all accountability for these actions. I want to start off with an example that happened to me. And it's something I did a flashback video on a while back. And I will include a link for it in the description box below. And in this situation, my mother had me as a child go into the restroom. And she coached me to pretend that I was throwing up in the toilet. And kept coaching me to make more louder and more deep sounds. As I was pretending to throw up per her request. As she also at the same time poured cereal into the toilet. And then wanted to have a neighborhood kid come in to be a witness. So she could use this against my father. Stating that I was somehow traumatized by him. And I was getting sick as a result. And let me tell you what. That amongst all of the other crazy things she did stuck with me my entire life. And what it did was it made me not trust my mother. Though like many of us, I went back for more and more and more. Even as an adult. Hoping things would get better. And believing her lies. Because I wanted to so bad believe she loved me. But I deep down inside knew it wasn't true. Because of incidents like I just described. And doing such horrible things and even worse to a young still mentally forming child can and does have lasting effects. That trauma bonds them to this narcissist parent. To the point where the entire relationship is all about being put in painful situations. And having that be a part of one's life. And then finding it normal to be like this with others once grown up. And this really skews how one sees relationships in general. And one's role in the world. And once you take the narcissistic abuse red pill, you realize you've been doing and seeing things so backwards. And it's all because constant trauma that was forced on your forming mind. And that's why many out there don't make it out of this mental prison of seeing things completely backwards. And being so screwed up from the trauma they can't function like normal human beings. I'm so thankful that you and I, or at least many of us, are at a place of understanding and working on healing. So that's very good. But there are many still locked away in their own minds. And they don't even know they are locked away. You see, I watched a video earlier today. And there are many copies floating around. And you can find it if you wish. But it's pretty darn disturbing. It's of a so-called mother. Either yelling at what appears to be video chat. Or she's yelling at the father of her child through voicemail. Yelling for him to pick up their child. And then she puts a black rope around the child's neck and starts swinging the child from the rope by the neck. And then tosses this young child on the bed. And again threatens the father if he doesn't pick up this child. She will hurt the child. Or at least she makes it seem that way. Because, in my opinion, the child was already hurt. That being said, there are several things going on here. First off, the police were called after them seeing the video. Oh, I forgot to mention this all happened in Thailand. So the lady is speaking Thai in the video. But there should be subtitles. At least on some of the videos out there. But once arrested she cried. And said she did it because of stress, her online store was having trouble. And she thought her boyfriend or husband was cheating on her. All the same narcissistic mess and excuses we've heard for years. But when the act was happening she was cold as ice. But now caught. It's everyone's fault but her own. But the real question is what happens to the child. Because the child is released back in her care. And the father didn't want to pursue charges. Now things might have been handled a bit differently in the States if that had happened here. But the excuses would still be the same. The narcissist never accepting responsibility for their actions. But again, think about the child. How much you want to bet? The mother will try to gaslight the child about this incident. Even when he's an adult and can see the video. She will say, I bet that she was playing and swinging him for fun. I bet she will say all kinds of things. Except she's nuts and has a major problem and was and is a poor excuse for a mother that shouldn't have any kind of custody of a young child. But she won't. She won't say or do anything that will admit guilt or that will put the blame squarely on her shoulders. And what this will do is teach this young child to accept gaslighting as being normal. And because his young mind is just forming, gaslighting and being mistreated has just become a part of everyday existence for this young child. And when he grows up to be a man, it will be a part of his life as well. And the demons I talked about in my previous video will use all of this trauma and manipulation started by his mother to steer him down a path of self-destruction and away from his destiny and path set by the Creator. Maybe he might get involved with a street gang because he feels no sense of love at home. Though we know what this so-called mother will do and say. I loved my baby. I did the best I could with what I had. It wasn't easy. But he was always a part of my heart. And these words will burn such a child as they burned us because we knew how much of a lie they were. And then it dawned on us. Who do we have? No one cares for us. Then we look at our choices of friends and see nothing but demons and devils. And then we feel alone. Not realizing the Most High God has a special place in His heart for us, giving us His extra time and extra care. All He wants us to do is call on Him. I pray for this young child. I pray that God blesses and takes care of this child. Because it's not his fault. He didn't ask to be put in this mess. But there he is. And demons are around him laughing and giggling away. And when he gets older he needs to know this. So he can do the opposite to what these demons want. And that's self-destruction. Instead of doing God's will. Now I will point something out here. As I've mentioned before, narcissism knows no gender. Evil is evil. But have you noticed the free and cavalier attitude of the female narcissist or whatever disorder or demon she has? And they play right on society's norms and stereotypes. Even in Thailand. That they are incapable of such acts because they are a woman. Instead of people. And the fact is they need to be seen for what they are. And that's no different than the men that commit such horrible acts and crimes. Because the longer we have these society biases, the more young men are going to see news stories like this. And opt out of state-sanctioned marriages. And they are going to opt out of having children. Because they will come to learn and understand that in our society they are a target. And they have no control. Because ladies, the good ladies on my channel, men, good strong men are frightened to death. They are going to end up with the wrong woman and lose their children to a monster. And they and their children will be ruined. And the more these unfair societal rules and laws don't change, the more you can see. These things were done on purpose. To put a wedge between you, the good woman, and the good God-fearing man that's out there. Because trust me, they are there. But they are reading the Bible. And the more they read the Bible, the more they see the wickedness in relationships play out as talked about in the very Bible they are reading. So they are guarding their hearts as the Bible commands. I know you ladies are suffering too at the hands of narcissists and evil men. But I know you're not blind. I know you see what is happening to your God-fearing men in front of your eyes. They are being stripped of everything masculine and everything good. To the point where men are scared to have a child and be married. No. Not because of being committed. But because of losing their wife and child to this evil matrix world we live in. And being destroyed financially as well until there's nothing left of him. And again, the demons I talked about before are at the center of such evil. That being said, all of this trauma and evil a young child is subjected to, he or she never forgets. It's burned on their tiny hearts and souls for life. Much like it was done to us. I just pray they get help. Like you are helping yourself. And part of that help you're doing for yourself is to backwards engineer what happened to you. So you can fully understand it and work through it. So these things aren't ignored. And won't surface in an unhealthy way in our lives. And sometimes part of this backwards engineering process is looking at stories we notice happening in our society, where we can see and think about how this might affect such a young child in such a story you might be reading about. Though you're not hoping such a thing on this child. But you understand the reality of what's going on. And then you can say, my God, these same type of effects happen to me. And you can start identifying these demons in your life one by one. And getting rid of them. So your mind and soul is clear. So you can get on a good path of fulfilling your purpose of why you are really here. Instead of making demons happy from your misery and pain. Well, I hope you found this video of some help. Please tell me what you think. Because we are all in this together. With that being said, let's keep praying for wisdom. Let's keep praying for strength. And until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.